You're locked on to hyperadio.co.uk, the number one for underground music worldwide, 24/7.
Blazing through your digital frequencies right now, you're locked into the sounds of Hype Radio.
Hype Radio, the number one online dance and urban music station. Sign up to the Hype forums now and get active.
Let's go big short. Let's go big short. Let's go big short.
This is tough enough.
Alright, in a brief second, we're going to talk to Mr. KARL, Tough Enough Brown, living legend of UK Garage.
This is tough enough.
One half of TUFFJAM. The legendary TUFFJAM. We get hold of him and find out what's happening with Too Tough for You and some other stuff.
This one exclusive.
Hype, 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 hype,
We are not able to connect your call. Please redial.
Ah, okay. The Yo UK Garage, Mr. KARL, Tough Brown. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad, though.
Good. So it's been a while. What's going on?
Well, it seems like you've been sort of getting in touch with my boys, isn't it?
Of
Get me.
course. How do you find out about that, man?
They're cool, man. They're very cool. They're like really good guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been talking to kind of like True. He was actually in the studio, kind of like mixing down some stuff. He's got a lot of nice things to say about you.
Well, I mean, True's been full on and focused. He's actually studying at uni, the serious side of production.
Yeah.
And I've got to take my hat off because it's not an easy thing to learn it from the basics. I never learnt it like that.
Right, okay.
I learnt it by, being in touch with people like Aston Harvey, who's part of the Freestylers, and other producers like Mike Spike Spencer.
Right.
Did stuff with I think Madonna. He did some production stuff, but it's like it's nice to see somebody actually getting into the technicals.
So which brings me actually to my next question, because I know that you kind of obviously opened a kind of school, innit? It's kind of KARL Tough Brown's group school. So can you tell me a little bit of the concept behind that?
Well, the thing is that I just thought to myself, because I've given up DJing, what could I give back? Because it is quite private and it's on a one-to-one scale. Giving something, giving some of your the kind of techniques to certain people is quite special.
Yeah.
But I just enjoy it as long as the individual's got vibe and joy when it comes to putting together stuff, and patience as well.
Yeah.
Because it's like when I first started martial arts years ago, I thought when I walked in for my first class I was going to become like Bruce Lee when I walked out. But it's not like that. It doesn't work like that. But it's just like when they come, they want to learn, but they want to learn it like today, and it doesn't work like that. So you have to have patience, you have to have the vigor to keep going, and to kind of find out who you are and what your sound is.
So you know, when you're actually, I mean, I've actually been in the studio with you, and I've kind of seen the way that you kind of put the tunes together. You know, it's quite clever. You know, the concept that you've got. So, you know, for the listeners who don't know, you know, how do you actually come up with the initiative to kind of come with the flavor and the vibes? You know, what makes you want to kind of make a tune that way?
Well, firstly, with the TUFFJAM thing, any remix that we did, like as we got better, I would say to our manager, send over the vocals. Tell them to send over the vocals to us, and we'll listen to the vocals. So I'd listen to the vocals and listen to the kind of vibe and the feel of the track, and then I'd say yay or nay. But then once I got the feel, and I'd go into the studio and create some drums that would have a similar feeling to that track.
Right, okay.
And once you start get that vibe and that feel, then you're away. Once you get the drums around, you know, you create the drums first, and I work drums first, vocals on top. Now the drums have got to sound like they're finished. Then you put the vocal on top, sit the vocal down, whether it be full vocal. If it's cut up vocal, I'll sit with the vocal for a while, cut them into nice pieces, because I use the S6000, and the S6000 to me still is a monster tool to use, because the way it cuts the vocals for you.
Okay, so for those who don't know what that is, that's a piece of hardware. It's a sampler. Okay,
that's right.
Yeah. So I mean, Carl, you know, if I wanted to become a student, how do I actually kind of get involved? How do I actually get in contact with you?
Well, that's easy. First thing, in your case, if you went to learn something, if you went to get to my studio, firstly, you've got to hand over your recipe. Firstly,
right? Okay.
Yeah, because you know, that nice recipe that you cooked when I came up to leave that time. that would be a good start. But on a serious level, I mean, for me personally, it's got to be somebody that really loves 4/4 Garage 1.
Right.
The other thing is that they've got to be able to be continuous. They've got to be, you know, they've got to at least come at least twice a month, you know, and do a minimum of 2 hours each session. And that's varied. That's priced on like a varied situation, depend on the person. If they can't afford that much, or if they're working, or I'll scale it how I feel. So you know, because I'm trying to help them. Yeah,
quite flexible in kind of what you're going.
Yeah. Okay. It's not just about the money. It's purely. It's quite a thing. It's got to be. I vibe off people, but I've got to live. Yeah, anybody's got to live, haven't they? Especially in these times. But I mean, basically, they've got to love their music, and they've got to want to be able to sit down and work out sounds, and, you know, dig out a couple of sounds here and there, things that they love. And once you know, I kind of feel that they're the right type of person. You know, there are certain rules that I have in my studio because I'm quite fussy about it. You can imagine. But I mean, you know, when you came down, we did your intro. We did it in how long? How was it? How long was it?
I mean, we kind of spent kind of like, it wasn't long, was it really? It was more or less a day, you know, that we kind of actually, you know, lay down everything. But I mean, that was phenomenal, really, you know.
That's it. It was quick. It was really quick, because the way I've got my equipment set up, it's just like the drums come out. They come out like they're mixed already, ready to go. You know, it's just only the initial sound. But basically, I just love to put beats together, and I've got a vibe off my students, you know, and every student's different, you know. You spoke to Shy as well. Shy, he's got his own feel, and he's quite technical. I mean, he's got his own personal Macintosh, which has got Logic on it, and he's quite in depth with his sounds and so on. So I'm just teaching him certain other areas, just like Alessandro. Alessandro is very good, but he uses a different system as well.
Right.
But he creates his certain feel and sound, which is fantastic. And there's other students as well, which I have. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, so you're kind of working with quite a lot of people at the moment, and kind of giving them some influences in kind of like into the TUFF sound, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, as I said, I don't mind. I'm not looking to kind of block myself out with loads of people. For me, it's selective people. If somebody's interested out there, if they want to, you know, learn some more, they can contact me on my MySpace site, which is MySpace/TUFFJAM Productions. I mean, people have been trying to find me. I mean, I'm glad I'm tucked away, but it's That's it. Or they can contact me through the OneTuff.com site, my old site that I've got. If they're interested, they can send me an email. All they've got to do is tell me about themselves. Why do they love garage? Right. What influences them, and so on. I also do mixing lessons as well, as you know. Teach mixing lessons, so it's tuning their mixing, because people think they can mix. You know, they can tune their mixing. I mean, I've tuned it because I was self-taught.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, what actually kind of influenced you into kind of being a DJ?
That's a good one. I don't know. You know what it is? It came by accident. I was doing tapes for my friends. I was doing tape to tape. You know the tape to tape machines when you keep stop one and you record it onto the next one. And people, they don't know about those sort of things. But then there was reel-to-reel mixing. I'll do reel-to-reel mixing, do special mixes on reel-to-reel. And then I kind of got into this one turntable and one cassette deck. And then it was two turntables. And I was thinking, I'm getting good at this. So I thought, well, let's go for it. And then it was just like that, really.
And you do have a kind of an orthodox style as well, you know what I mean? And that, you know, anybody that ever kind of had a chance to kind of see Karl in action, we call him Mr. Snake Hip Brown.
Yeah, no, you do. Well, you know what? When I used to go out and play out into Clubland, I think it's important to give off the vibe. If I feel it, the crowd are going to feel it. And so, therefore, that's how I enjoy it. I always enjoyed myself. My focus was purely the vibe. I was not interested in drugs. I was not interested in drink. It was purely the vibe. And I think the vibe is inbuilt. You know, the creator has given that already. That is there, you know. And I've got to be, praise to the Most High Creator Jehovah, because in the end, we've got it all. We've got it inbuilt in us. We all love music, whatever nationality we have. We love music. And so therefore, we vibe in a different way. So all the guys that watch it, all the guys and girls that are listening to your show now, they're into garage and they love the garage. So that's great. It's fantastic. I've got to say that with the tracks that I've created, it's very technical. I as you know, Marvin, you've seen me work. I'm listening intently to sounds and nuances, just like Todd Edwards. He does the same. He listens to the nuances and he gets deep in there, and I do the same.
So, which brings me to my next question, Mr. Karl Brown.
Yes, Marvin.
So, listen, what's happening with TUFF for you?
Boy, yeah, that's what I was thought. I was actually going to speak to the manager of that. Well, at the moment we've got the samplers ready. I mean, there's one or two tracks we're just finalizing, tweaking, we're mastering them. But it's about this vinyl thing and the MP3 thing. We're really thinking about what we're doing, because it does cost a lot of money to put tracks out. And you could see by the status nowadays, it is quite hard out there. Record companies going bust. There's pressing plants. I mean, even a well-known one that I know told me recently that they're going to have to shut. I was like, what? Couldn't believe it. But we're really thinking about what we're going to do. I love plastic. Believe me, I love plastic. I want to put out some plastic and some MP3s. The idea is that the 2008 sampler and the Brown and Cole remixes would come out, and you'd get a download, and you'd get 3 or 4 tracks with each. Free.
Okay, that's brilliant.
Right, and that's how we were going to do it. So it's all down to I'm just speaking with Ed at the moment, Ed Ski, and seeing how we're going to do this, because we need to do it properly. We need to do it where it's going to be financially viable. I mean, it's easy to say. People say, "Oh, but why don't they put out this? Why don't?" Well, you know what? I'd love to see people who moan and groan put out records themselves, because it's not easy.
Yeah, you're right.
It's very difficult nowadays, especially MP3s, no problem. You can put them as downloads. But plastic is very difficult, and you have to think about things carefully, So that's what my aim is. My aim is to put out some more stuff. I don't make tracks for nothing. Yeah. You've heard the new one, the Soul Masters Inc.
What a wicked tune.
Well, I must admit, I was vibing on that. When I was doing that, I said to myself, I'm going to do something a little bit different and go back to the Grant Nelson kind of lick, and that's it. So, and it's fantastic on another subject that Grant Nelson's starting up nice and ripe again.
Ah, right. That's news to me.
You not heard about that?
Mate.
Marvin, I thought you had your ear to the ground, mate.
I thought I did as well.
Yeah.
Of course, obviously, I haven't.
Well, I was speaking to Grant. So the other day, so I'm actually going to be meeting up with him at some point. When I can and when he's free, and so on. But yeah, I mean, just loads of things. As I said, I'm working on the Groove School thing. I love the idea of helping young producers, and trying to put out more vinyl, really, and more tracks.
KARL.
Yes.
It's been absolutely splendid to talk to you, mate.
Muchas gracias. Arigato.
And before we leave,
yeah,
we did a part 2 showcase. And the question is, everyone's asking me, what do you think they're asking me?
They're asking you, when's part 7 going to come?
What we will
that's
say,
a good question. That's a very good question, isn't it? And it always is the question.
It always is. Isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm still vibing on the last one. I play that tape in my car all the time. That CD in my car all the time. So it's nice to listen to it. Apart from the little mistakes, the record jumping in. You know what? You need to change those styluses, mate.
Mate, you know what it was. I think it was like Jubilee jumping up and down and stuff like that, and all the energy that was in the studio. But listen, KARL, it's been absolutely, excellent kind of having you on the phone line. And what can I say? You are still the man. The baddest DJ in town, the baddest producer, Mr. KARL Tough Enough Brown.
I've also got to say thank you very much, Marvin. I've also got to say big up to Matt Jam as well. Matty, I hope he's well out there.
Big up to Matt Jam Lamont. Yeah,
nice.
I totally
nice.
agree.
He's putting out some nice funky house cuts as well, which is great.
Yep.
Big shout to Scott as well, and everybody that's tuned into your show and loves the garage beats.
Thank you.
The bumpy sounds.
Thank you very much, Mr. KARL Tough Enough Brown. And listen, mate, I will catch up with you pretty soon for some new stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm actually when I leave, because I'm actually in a session now with Shy, and then from here I'll be leaving to go to another studio because I'm working on this other big track, which is forthcoming, which you know about as well. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And so, you'll be getting some other bits and pieces shortly, sir.
All right. KARL, thank you very much for kind of taking the time out and kind of, me talking to you, really. You know what I mean?
No problem.
Big up to Mr. KARL Tough Enough Brown. He was live on Hype Radio. What can we say? KARL Tough Enough Brown.
Hype, 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 hype,
in the mix.
Talking about Man Jam Lamont, this one, Kings of Swing, Sambuca. Big shouts out to Mr. KARL, Tough Enough Brown, as always.
From across the room, you had your eyes on me, I had my eyes on you. We went to the bar for a Sambuca. You gave me your number, then you took my number. I say, you wanna fuck with the good boy, they're gonna give it to you like a real man shit. Kiss a caress, take your dress, she can do the rest. In the contest, for me, the DE, the Berlin, ISG, G2 drink, I'm right in the pop 3, pop 2, never coming in.